our classes that it may be called as the miasm of deficiency, syphilis may be called as the miasm of destruction, and psychosis may be called as the miasm of excess. Now, in this session, we will be learning that what is their interrelationship, how the sora gets converted into syphilis and how syphilis gets converted into psychosis. How can we assess that? What is the presenting layer? Because my friends, 21st century, this century is the century of triamiasmatic manifestations. We cannot say with certainty that what the person is mainly suffering from. We have to peel off the layers, my friends. Like I could like to tell you that if we have a lotus flower and if we keep on peeling the petals of the lotus flower, then a new layer comes up. Now, 21st century is the century of a lot of suppressions. A lot of suppressions are there. A lot of heroic medicines we use. So there will be different presenting layers. So let's also talk about Dr. Hahnemann's miasm, whereas the definition of miasm by Dr. Hahnemann is, miasms are the fundamental cause of both acute and chronic miasmatic disease, as it is written in Organon Aphorism number 5. They are half spiritual. They again means the acute miasm. They're half spiritual, parasitic, excessively minute, invisible living creatures which are capable of multiplication and are so inimical to life that we see in the chronic disease, page number 75 footnote. So my friends, as I was telling you that the miasmatic force already dormant in the body, plus the miasmatic force that is coming from outside. So the miasmatic force that is coming from the outside, this is the force that Dr. Hahnemann, our father of homeopathy, wanted to tell us that this half spiritual, parasitic, excessively minute, invisible living creatures are capable of multiplication. They multiply inside our body, be it a bacteria, be it a virus, be it an fungi or any other type of infection. So these are inimical to life. So this is what I want to say, miasmatic force from outside. On the other hand, are not the chronic miasms disease parasites, which continue to live as long as the man seized by them is alive? So as I told you, we are already born with the miasms. And similarly, the chronic miasms disease parasite continue to live as long as the man seized by them is alive. As long as the man is alive, the vital force from the outside, the parasites are alive. This is written in Chronic Disease, page number 75 footnote. The miasms are found in the contagious matter of miasmatic disease. In acute miasmatic disease, the miasma is seen as the local eruptions or secretions. In chronic miasmatic disease, the miasma is found in the primary local eruption. This is again written in the Chronic Disease, page number 75 footnote, where Dr. Hahnemann talks about how we get the manifestations of the miasma in as the local eruptions. As we go through the detailing, we will be learning about how are the skin eruptions, what are the local eruptions, and how can we understand the soric eruptions, the psychotic eruptions, or the syphilitic eruptions. Next we talk about is the miasmatic diseases are caused by the dynamic infection with the miasm, as we have learned in the Organon Aphorism number 72. They must therefore all have for their origin and foundation constant chronic miasm, whereby their parasitical existence in the human organism is enabled to continually rise and grow. This is again written in Chronic Disease, page number 34, second para. What Dr. Hahnemann wants to tell us that they must therefore all have for their origin. They again means the microbes or the organisms that are coming from the outside and attacking the vitality of the body. They must therefore all have for their origin and foundation constant chronic miasm, that is the miasm of the bacteria or the miasm of the virus, whereby their parasitical existence in the human organism is enabled. What? Their existence is enabled in our body to continually rise and grow. Again, Dr. Hahnemann writes, or have these various acute half spiritual miasms the peculiar characteristic that, as you know, that they have their own peculiar characteristics. After they have penetrated the vital force in the first moment of the contagion, again, contagion means infection. That is the miasmatic infection I was talking about in the previous slides. After they have penetrated the vital force in the first moment of the contagion, and each one in its own way has produced disease. And then like parasites have quickly grown up within it and have usually developed themselves by their peculiar fever after producing their fruit. So what is happening, my friends? These are coming into the body and they're growing inside the body, and then the symptoms are arising like the peculiar fever. The mature cutaneous eruption, which is again capable of producing its miasma. They again die out and leave the living organism again free to recover. That is Handman's chronic disease 75 footnote. So we understand that there is a continuous fight that is going on inside our body, and how very often our body gets infected by the miasmatic infections because of our susceptibility, and we recover too, be it the case of influenza virus or any other viruses that the humanity suffer from. So we have seen the specific words used by Dr. Hahnemann to describe what he calls miasm. That is the fundamental cause of all acute and chronic miasmatic disease. We have seen the word infectious, that is contagion, disease parasites. Also, we have seen excessively minute invisible creatures. We have seen they have the capability of multiplication. We have also seen that they are found in the contagious matter of the miasmatic disease. So as we go through this terminology, we can get into the depth of the microbiology, that what depth Dr. Hahnemann was having at the time when he was writing the book, that is the theory of chronic disease, that is the cause, fundamental cause, that is the miasm. So my friends, now let's go into the detail of the general nature of the three miasms, SORA, psychosis, and syphilis. Also, we will be talking about the tubercular miasm, which was introduced by Allen. So my friends, you should always remember that the SORA miasm mainly have the functional disorders. Always remember this disorder of the function. There are some abnormality. There are abnormal sensations, or the organ is not, organ or the tissues are not performing the proper function. There is no structural damage in SORA. So what we see, the first layer that will always be present, there will be a functional disorder. And also there will be again hypersensitivity. Now the question is, why hypersensitivity? Hypersensitivity will be there because of hyperimmunity, because the immunity is less, so the susceptibility is more. So if the susceptibility is more, the patient will be hypersensitive. So in whatever cases we will be discussing, we have to see the SORA as the functional disorders that are going on. And again, in the psychosis, my friends, the key word for psychosis is incoordination. Always remember, the psychotic persons, they always have incoordinations. They cannot coordinate. So under psychotic spheres, we get a lot of neurological, a lot of nervous system disorders, and a lot of skin disorders also. And we also see that most of the complaints that the females or the ladies are suffering during the menstrual cycles or during the menstrual periods, then what happens is that there is the incoordination, as there is the incoordination of the hormones. So most of the complaints are coming at that time, where there's the incoordination of the hormones, the incoordination of the action, the incoordination of the speech. So this is the keyword, my friends, for understanding the miasm psychosis. Along with it, there is overproduction and infiltration. The cells of the tissues are overproducing. And what is happening? They're infiltrating. And after the infiltrations, we see a lot of benign tumors, or the condylomatous, or the pigwort-like eruptions. So these are what characterize the psychotic spheres. Now, we will be discussing about the general nature of syphilis miasm, as we have learned that syphilis miasm have mainly the destructive disorders. So when you will find the persons or the cases where we have to go for the antisyphilitic medicine, then you will find a lot of ulcerations on the skin, a lot of ulceration, a lot of destructiveness is there inside the body, be it on the physical sphere, it may also be at the mental sphere. For example, if you take the case of the medicine like aurum metallicum, where there is constantly dwelling on suicide, and the person commits suicide. Such suicidal tendencies, they have the loathing of life. They don't want to live. such as the destructive disorders of the syphilis miasm. Again, there is a lot of perversions. They're perverts, we can say. They have a lot of different sexual perversions, a lot of different acts they would like to perform. And again, this suppuration, this ulceration. My friends, the keyword for the tubercular miasm is changing. They're never stable. The symptomatology is changing. Sometimes the pains are in the upper extremities. Sometimes they go to the abdominal region. Then they go to the lower extremities. The symptoms keeps on changing. The modalities keeps on changing. There is recurrence of the symptoms. If you take the intermittent fever or the intermittent diseases, which keep on repeating at a more or less a per particular time. So we can say that this type of changing nature is there in tubercular miasm. And also they have the diathesis of scrofula, or we call it the scrofulous diathesis. My friends, now we would like to discuss about, as we are understanding the interrelationship of the miasm, what are the tissues affected? So the main tissues affected by the psoriatic miasm is ectodermal tissues. My friends, we call it ectodermal because these are mainly the functional disorders. You will have the disorder of the skin, central nervous system, endocrine, blood vessels, liver, like that. And in the psychotic, we will see that the endodermal tissues are affected. There are the infection of the internal organs like pelvis and sexual organs in the blood. And in the syphilis, we find the tissue affected is mainly the mesodermal layer. That is the soft tissues, the bones, the glandular, the tissues, where we will find the ulceration of the bones. The bones will be ulcerated, the tissues will be ulcerated, the glands will be very, very red, and a lot of complaints will be coming from the mesodermal tissues. Similarly, in case of tubercular, we find the adenoids, so the glands in the neck are mainly affected. So my friends, we have to keep in our mind that what miasm we are dealing with and what are the tissues that may be mainly affected by this. Now, my friends, let's talk about the nature of disease. Since we know that psora, psychosis, syphilis, tubercular, they cause innumerable number of diseases that have a lot of different names. So in the psora, we mainly find the deficiency disorders. There's deficiency of the nutrition, there's deficiency of the vitamins, there's deficiency of the immunity. So such will be the nature of the disease. Whereas in psychotic, we will find the depositions. There will be the deprivation of the tissues will of course be there, and also the new growths will be deposited on the skin, like the condylomet or the pigwort growths or the cauliflower-like growths that we study. And in the syphilis, we will have the destructive disorders. There will be the deformities. And the tubercular, the nature of the disease is depletion, drainage, and pasting. Now, my friends, let's talk about the beginning, that is the psora. So what happens, as Dr. James Sallerkan tells us, that something is prior to. All the things did not happen on its own. There was something prior to something. Now, what was something prior to something is the evil thinking, the evil will. When, as long as the man wants to stay happy, the person wants to stay happy, live their lively correct, do good, and don't have any negative or false intentions against someone, the life is easy to live. But when this bad thinking, or when this bad thinking, like suppose somebody is having a good pen and you want to take it and you steal it, or if something evil you're doing, then that is creating the groove or the stigma for this miasm, that is the psora. So we call psora at the beginning. As I told you, my friend, no one on earth is born without psora. It is the self-limiting force or the life-limiting force. Now, the word psora is a Hebrew word that is soret, which means a groove, fault, a pollution, a stigma, that we all already learned in our classes. And also we have seen that Hahnemann referred to psora as a hydra-headed monster. Psora is that most ancient, most universal, most destructive, and yet most misapprehended miasm. So as we also call that, psora is called the mother of miasms, and the main miasm will be going into the detail. So in psora, we find diversions, perversions to commit evil. They're quick and active, but they're easily frightened. My friends, in the mental sphere of psora, all sorts of fears are there in psora. Psora's patient is very fearful, is afraid. There is always a constant fear is going on inside the mind. They're sensitive to order of flowers, food, bad news, joys, etc. Sensitive to order of flowers. Why? because they are hypersensitive. And also, why again hypersensitive? Because of their hyperimmunity. Again, there is lack, there is deficiency. That means the keyword for the SORA. They are prostrated easily from mental exertion, dizzy, faint in crowd, or with unusual ordeal. They're anxious and restless, especially in thoughts with keenness of intelligence. For the psoric patient, time goes too fast or too slow. They're always complaining. They're never satisfied with these conditions in life. There are a lot of delusions. There's indolence. There is aversion to bathing and working, absent-minded, and aversion to company. And always remember, my friends, the SORA patients are better by normal discharges. And the aggravation may be the new moon, the approach of mens, better by weeping and expressing. So also, we would like to discuss about the hair and scalp of SORA. The head is normal in size and contour. Hair is dry, lusterless, tangles easily, breaks and splits easily. As we have already studied these kind of symptoms under the medicine sulfur, that is also known as king of antipsychotic medicines. Hair falls out after illness, becomes gray too early or white in spots. Dry, rarely perspiring. Always remember, my friends, another keyword for understanding the miasm SORA is dryness. There is dryness, dryness, dryness everywhere. The eruptions that are psoric in origin, they are always dry. There is 0% moisture. As we will see, in contrast to other miasms, the skin eruptions will be dry, they will be red, they will be burning, there will be itching, but there will be no discharges from the skin because they have such character. The discharge is scanty and either of pure serum or bloody serum. They are often very painful but do not suppurate. And dry eruptions on scalp with much itching, worse in open air, evening warm and heat of bath. And this ameliorated by scratching but burning and itching follow. This dry, scaly, brown-like dandruff with or without itching. So, my friends, what we understand by this? We understand that there is a lack of certain elements in the system and inability to assimilate them from foods is the common denominator of almost all the so-called psoric conditions. There is a lack of balance in the equilibrium of health that manifests through a hypersensitivity of impressions, causing the functional disturbances. My friends, so what is happening? There is a lack of balance. As I told you, there is always deficiency. There is always wanting. The psoric patients, they want the balance in their body. They want certain elements. Something is lacking inside their body, or they're not able to assimilate in the body, as we will see, as we find this symptoms in a lot of anti-psoric medicines. Now, it is correlated with the ancient plagues which troubled the people of Earth since the most ancient times. Patients with stubborn, recurring symptoms never be cured by similar remedy. Why? There is always itching and it becomes the source of all the subjective symptoms. Why? Because there was the fundamental miasm. Even if we select the superficial remedy or the partially similar remedy, they will not be cured. Why? Because we have to take care of the fundamental miasm that is lurking in the background. See, my friends, the itch. The itch may rise from simple state to very complex state. Now, H.A. Roberts, I would like to quote here the words of H.A. Roberts. Action of stigma is to debilitate the life force, to deform the body, to dull the intellect, and to upset reason. They tear at the very spirit of man. Miasms are destructive in every way. This is met intelligently by knowing the ancient origin of disease and exterminate on the basis of miasms. So what we understanding by the miasms, that they weakens the body. So when we are prescribing anti-miasmatic medicine, my friends, when we are able to understand, yes, the medicine is working and the patient is going in a good state. Why? Because there is a renewed energy. When the proper anti-miasmatic medicine is there, then this debility, this weakness, it passes off. Now, this miasm lasts until the last breath and is contagious in origin. So, always state and condition precedes action, my friends. As life of man, will of man, so body of man. As I told you, something is prior to. And what is it? It is the fundamental miasm. It is the fundamental cause of all the diseases. As internal, so is external. Image of on comes out. Ancients referred leprosy as an internal itch. Today's human race is better than moral leper, thinking, willing, and acting that makes the signs of human race. My friends, we say that the power to think and the power to will, that what I want to do and what I don't want to do, and willing, what is good for me and what is not good for me. When this understanding comes, then we can get to know that what is good for us and what is bad for us, so that we can prevent these sorry manifestations to come. Also, it can be said that without sorrow, there is no disease because it is the fundamental cause. It will stay inside the body. This is the primary disorder of human race. This beginning, this sickness progress to true susceptibility. Again, my friends, why true susceptibility? That is the susceptibility to miasmatic infection. Foundation for other diseases. Simple state to very complex state. No cure with superficial remedies. So the superficial remedies would not help. And as I told you, this is the transformation of miasm from generation to generation. Primary sora to primary sora. First stage psychosis will lead to first stage psychosis. Advanced stage will lead to advanced stage. Miasms are carried forward as they are. That is, they show advanced manifestations and do not show the previous stages again. So my friends, this was all about sora. Now we would be learning about the psychotic miasm, that is the miasm of incoordination. And we will be learning that how the incoordinations are coming and what are its symptoms. So psychosis comes from Greek word which means pig. Definition. Psychosis is a contagious constitutional disease which results from the chronic gonorrhea, as told by Dr. James Tyler Kent. So what is psychosis? It is a contagious, means infective, constitutional disease. Psychosis is a chronic miasmatic state which is developed due to suppression of chronic gonorrhea and primarily manifested by condylomatous or cauliflower-like growth on skin. In modern times, psychosis has taken on a double meaning. That is, the morbid conditions develops as a result of inherited gonorrheal poison, repeated vaccination, as told by Phyllis Pate. So, my friends, there are a lot of definitions of psychosis to learn. That what is the definition and what kind of states are going to be formed. Now, let's talk about the transmission of psychotic miasm. So, we have father and the mother. What happens? The father is suffering from the active gonorrheal discharge, whereas the mother may be healthy. Now they had sexual intercourse, and after that, the transmission happened. What happens is, then we have the symptoms in the mother and the symptoms in the child. Since the father was the patient having the active gonorrheal discharge, the mother will be presenting with the symptoms of recurrent urinary tract infections, pelvic inflammatory diseases, nephritis, salpingitis, sophritis, and all other types of symptoms. The child may be healthy or may have mild gonorrheal predisposition, or also in severe cases there may be severe gonorrheal predisposition. Again, my friends, how the sexual intercourse will take place. The father had active gonorrheal discharge, and the mother, she had inherited psychotic miasm. And this miasmatic state will be transmitted to children, and the children will be born with features of psychosis, mental retardation, severe chronic diseases. So my friends, the psychotic patient is also known as barometer, as they're very significant of the atmospheric changes. The psychotic patients catches the symptoms as soon as the season shifts or the temperature changes. So we call the psychotic patient is a barometer. In any stage, in any form, it takes the precedence of the three miasms. Natural discharges never ameliorate psychotic patients, my friend. Always remember, in SORAS, we learned that natural discharges were ameliorating, but in psychotic, natural discharges never ameliorate psychotic patients like perspiration, etc. Psychotic manifestations are characterized by slowness of recovery. So the recovery is not very fast in case of psychotic patients. It takes time. Now let's discuss about the Hahnemannian view of psychosis. First of all, my friends, let's talk about the primary manifestations. First, there is infection of chronic gonorrhea through sexual intercourse. Then there comes a period called incubation period. After that, there is internal development of psychotic miasm. Then there are eruptions which are soft, spongy, cauliflower-like growth with sweet, stinking smell, slightly bleeding, and somewhat moist, or even they appear dry and water-like. And their distribution is there may be suppression. This suppression will lead to secondary manifestation of psychosis. My friends, we've always studied that when the primary manifestations, that is the soft spongy cauliflower-like growths which erupted inside in the body or on the skin, they had the sweet stinking smell. My friends, always remember this type of smell. Slightly bleeding was there and somewhat moist. When these symptoms, the primary manifestations, when they're suppressed, then only there will be the secondary manifestations of psychosis. That is, if one suppresses the primary manifestations of the miasmatic state, then we'll have the secondary manifestation of psychosis. Excrescences are treated by allopathy by violent external way like cauterization, ligature, cutting, or burning. Now, my friends, let's talk about the Kantian view of psychosis. Kantian view of psychosis, patient is there suffering from urethritis. This urethritis may be again by two causes. It may be a non-specific bacteria, we call it a non-contagious, or there may be specific urethritis called contagious, that is gonorrhea. Again, there are two states in the specific urethritis, that is because of the infection, we call it the gonorrheal infection or the miasmatic infection. Then again, we have the acute state where we call it a tendency to recovery, and we have a chronic state where there is a no tendency to recovery. So what will happen if there is acute state? They will never produce piquotes and constitutional symptoms. But if they are suppressed, then there will be production of constitutional symptoms, and there will be the proliferation or the psychotic miasm will be in the background. Now let's study about the J. Conjule's view of psychosis, where we have gonorrhea simplex. By the gonorrheal simplex, it never leads to psychosis afterwards, even if it is suppressed. My friends, we should remember that. Gonorrhea simplex does not lead to psychosis. Very painful. It's a very painful state. This spasmodic pain in urethra and urinary bladder from beginning, initially more mucus, but later on thick viscous discharges will come. Whereas in case of primary chronic gonorrhea, there are various psychotic manifestations from beginning, and there will be thick viscous discharges from the beginning. And these discharges, my friends, will be mainly of yellowish color. So we should always remember that whenever we have the yellowish discharges, such type of discharges fall under psychotic criteria. Now, what is the nature of miasm? My friends, I told you this incoordination at the physical and mental level. This overproduction from the early phase of disease, as I told you, this proliferation, there is slow recovery. So this is the nature. And what is the nature of the disease? We will have deposition, there will be overgrowth, there will be PID, there will be fibrosis, there will be atrophy of different parts of tissues, resulting in dwarfism, cretinism, myxedema, infiltration of tissues. Again, always remember, my friends, when we are talking about the psychotic miasm, there is always excess. So what we find, we get the hypers. There's hypertrophy, there's hyperplasia, there's hypersecretion, hyperthermia, hyperactivity, hypersensitivity, dysplasia, metaplasia, neoplasia, expansion, precipitation, pride, hurried, exaggerated tears, and violent anger. So these are the symptoms, or these are the qualities we find in case of the disease occurring due to the psychotic manifestation of the psychotic miasm. Now, what is the psychotic person's mental sphere? My friends, psychotic miasm is also called the miasm of the 21st century. The psychotic person has an inclination to show off. A psychotic woman walks in the street and cuts a dash. Always remember, my friends, the psychotic persons are extravagant. Extravagant, when I say extravagant, I mean that they want to show a lot of things. They're very shy. They want to say that I have 2 cars, I have a lot of bungalow, I've got a lot of income, I have a lot of money, I live a luxurious life. So even if the person may be poor, he will be an extravagant. He will show, yes, I'm so rich. See, a psychotic woman walks in the street and cuts a dash. She walks like a queen. Head turns around when she walks by, and that is what she seeks. consciously or even unconsciously. A psychotic man walks with a swagger. A psychotic man walks with a swagger and puffs himself up to show his muscles. जो psychotic का आदमी रहेगा, वह अपने muscles दिखाएगा, वह अपनी body दिखाना चाहेगा कि मेरे अंदर कितनी ताकत है, मेरे अंदर कितने मेरे डोले शोले हैं. He wants to show to the people. He wants to show to the people. Yes, the psychotic person will wear expensive clothes brought at trendy shops. Also have to show with psychosis. They will go for always expensive things like buying an expensive car, though it is not necessary for professional use. It's also related to psychosis. So my friends, such is the state of psychotic. Hyper, high. They always want an excess. Now let's talk about the professions of psychotic persons. Psychotic persons are journalists, the lawyer, politician, have much appeal for psychotic persons. Why again? Because journalists have to make a lot of stories in the newspapers. They have to publish their articles, and the lawyer, you have to speak a lot, you have to talk a lot, and you have to talk about the truths and the lies. The politician have to make the promises. So they have to show themselves to be an extravagant. The shiny shingle on the door, the glamorous surface, the worldwide recognition appeal to the young student. My friends, the young student, he will have the intention that the world should know me. Everybody should know me. I should be very hardworking. My research should be at the top, such is the profession of a psychotic student. A psychotic scientist thinks of himself to be an exceptional case in his field, even though he is mediocre. Even the scientist, हालांकि साइंटिस्ट जरूरी नहीं है कि वह बहुत ही अच्छा हो, बहुत ही उसकी रिसर्च और बहुत अच्छी है, फिर भी वह दिखाएगा कि वह बाकियों से बहुत अच्छा है. He calls himself an expert or an adept in his field. वह अपने आप को बोलेगा, yes, ये काम मेरे लिए है. I can do it. I know how to do it. He likes to put many titles on his shingle. As a patient, he prefers distinguished and highly qualified doctors who sounds like omniscient to him. ये psychotic patient रहेगा, आप देखना बोलेंगे कि मैं एक एंडोक्रिनोलॉजिस्ट के पास गया, मैं कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट को दिखाया, मैं ईएनटी स्पेशलिस्ट के पास गया. वह हर महीने अपने डॉक्टर चेंज करते रहेंगे, उनको भरोसा नहीं होता. They are like they're suspicious. They have fixed intentions. They have fixed thoughts. We cannot judge them psychotic persons at what they are thinking. He has a mistrust of doctors who are ordinary and straight. वह हर किसी एक डॉक्टर पे बिलीव नहीं करेगा, उसे चाहिए extravagance हर जगह. This inclination to show off marks every psychotic behavior. When he's sad, for instance, the way he cries, the way he sighs draws everybody's attention and sympathy towards him. वह जिस तरह से रोएगा, वह इतनी जोर से चिल्ला के रोएगा कि दिखाएगा कि सब लोग को, जो साइकोटिक बच्चा होगा वो इतनी जोर से चिल्ला के दिखाएगा कि लोग उसे टेंशन दे. They are attention seekers. The way a psychotic person gets angry is also flamboyant. गुस्सा भी होंगे तो बहुत ज्यादा करेंगे. The person screams, shouts, makes a great fuss. It's some kind of puffing up that draws other people's attention. मेरे को दूसरे लोगों की attention चाहिए. When the psychotic person is happy, he roars with laughter and also makes a great fuss. अब वह हंसेगा भी तो बहुत जोर जोर से ठहाके मार के हंसेगा. तो इस तरह से जो हमारा एक्सेस है, रोएगा तो बहुत ज्यादा रोएगा, हंसेगा तो बहुत ज्यादा हंसेगा. Such is a kind of a psychotic behavior. The psychotic lover is reluctant to convey emotions. They convey their emotions. Passion is not among his features. Psychosis is secret. They can keep their secrets. They're very secretive. The psychotic person tends to keep everything secret out of sight. For instance, he may keep his aim secret. वह ये नहीं बताएगा कि वह क्या बनना चाहता है या वह क्या करना चाहता है, उसकी क्या intention है. वह अपनी intention हमेशा छिपा के रखेगा. He also hides his real feelings. That's why he seems to be strong in other people's eyes. He may dislike someone. देखो कितना भयंकर हो सकता है एक psychotic person. He may dislike someone and still smile at him and be very friendly with him. वह किसी को ना पसंद कर सकता है, फिर भी उसके तरफ एक स्माइल देगा और उससे एक दोस्त की तरह बात करेगा. This is how they're reluctant to convey their emotions. In physical sphere, hyperplashes and hypertrophies prevail. As my friends, I told you, as psychosis owes its name to this feature. This character is this increase in secretions. This gonorrhea is a psychotic manifestation. Psychotic eczema shows profuse effusion of fluids. We notice a retention of fluids in the organism. Inflammation is a major feature of psychosis as well as formation of cysts. The feeling of fragility is also marked. In the past history, we'll find the chronic metabolic disorders, hypercholesteremia, hyperlipidemia, hyperuricemia. All the values will be very, very high. When you have to treat really a very high cholesterol patient, then you should surely go for antipsychotic treatment. When we have to treat a urinary and biliary stones, rheumatic disease, psychotic mode of reaction provoked by chronic gonorrhea, and suppression of pathological eliminations and proliferations. My friends, now I would like to discuss about the hydrogenoid constitution. That is one of the constitution of the problem. Why? Because hydrogenoid constitution is the constitution that is attributed to the psychotic miasm. There is an excess of hydrogen and consequently water in the blood and tissues. Excess of hydrogen and water corresponds closely to Hahnemann's psychosis, but it covers a much wider area and is not by any means confined to the acquired or inherited result of gonorrheal infection that we have already discussed. The vaccinosis too comes under this constitution. As I told you, my friends, hydrogenoid constitution is characterized by the excess of water in the body. They get aggravated by moisture and humidity. They cannot eat the foods which are more moisture, which are more water content. They're prone to dropsy and anasarca. Again, there is excess of water, excess of fluid collection. They suffer from tissue growth of benign type. They belong to the psychotic group, and this marked periodicity of complaints. We have the medicines like arsenic, Delcamara, Natrum Sulf, nitric acid, Phytolacca, Rustox, Thuja, which is again the king of antipsychotic, Digitalis, Antitat, Ipecac, and a lot of many homeopathic drugs. So again, we have the aggravations which are from the cold or damp weather and in rain. There's exposure to both water and water products. There's also aggravation by sour milk, hard eggs, cucumbers, mushrooms. Again, they have a higher water content. They live by aggravated in the living in the proximity of ponds, rivers, and sea, as well as stagnant water. Complaints are aggravated by electric disturbance, finds a special place under this constitution. Also, we have the medicines like Natrum Sulf, Thuja, Antitat, as we already discussed. Now, my friends, will be going to the another miasm, which is a very important miasm, syphilitic miasm. So that was all for the psychotic miasm, where we learned about how the psychotic miasm acts, what are its symptoms, how it is transmitted from generation to generation, what is an active gonorrheal infection, and a lot of things like that. Now, let's talk about the syphilitic miasm, the definition. It is defined as the miasm of the venereal disease proper, the Sankard disease. Syphilis is a chronic miasmatic state developed when the local manifestations of syphilis are suppressed by external applications. Always remember, as I told you, if there is a syphilitic infection, then what will happen? There will be primary manifestations. And if we suppress the primary manifestation by using some ointments or some external applicant or some other medicine, then we will have to face an array, we can say a lot of secondary manifestations of this miasm. Syphilis is the chronic miasmatic state engendering perversion. There's a lot of perversions are there. There is destruction, degeneration, and aggressiveness. Now, my friends, let's talk about the primary manifestation of this miasm. As you know, the syphilis, the disease syphilis, it comes from the infection by Treponema pallidum, that is parochid through sexual intercourse. So we call it the venereal miasm. After 14 to 21 days, that is the incubation period is 9 to 90 days, there will be the primary manifestations. Why? Because the miasmatic force of the Treponema pallidum, Treponema pallidum parochid has already entered the body. And now what will happen? It will create the primary manifestations. When this anchor is removed, it will produce some chancre, some ulcerations. And when this will be removed by local or external applications like cauterization, desiccating substance, or corroding, the eruption produces on the body surfaces secondary manifestation of syphilis. Then what will happen? Then we will have the other manifestations. And if this manifestation is in turn treated by suppressive measures, the disease attacks the internal organ. That is the gamma organ, say. Now, what is the nature of this miasm? This miasm produces destructive disorders everywhere, be it mental or physical, as we had already stated before. There's ulceration from the early phase of the disease. They infect the mesoderm. There's affinity to lymphatics, so the soft tissues, bones, glandular tissues. There's a problem of the mineral metabolic disorders, destruction or degeneration, destruction or deviation, and is characterized anatomically and physiological by dystrophies. Always remember, my friend, you can recollect DYS, this word, which is which again means the painful, like dysplasia, dystonia, dysphagia, or the difficult deglutition. And wherever, like we have the dysmenorrhea, the dysplasia, wherever this has difficulty, we can attribute it to the syphilitic miasm. There is perversion, a lot of sexual perversions are there. in syphilitic miasm. Now, syphilitic miasm closely corresponds to the oxygenoid constitution. Why? Oxygenoid constitution is characterized by the accumulation of excess of oxygen with resultant destruction of tissues. The body, why? Because we know that continuously the oxidation processes are going on inside the body. There is excess of oxygen, which will make the body thin and thus ill on change of season. There's destructive disorders involving the genitalia and diseases of central nervous system. Again, we have studied a lot of diseases which are syphilitic in origin, and they fall under the criteria of central nervous system. Then the body is prone to ulcerations and self-destruction. See, my friends, this excess of oxygen, the patients are thin and complain of weight loss in spite of having food, good appetite and eating well. The person is eating well, still they are losing the weight. There are prominent glands, the bones get weak and they're anemic. They like fats and are aversion of carbohydrates. They're worse when dryness is changing to humidity before storms and before and during tempestuous winds. They're better when it begins to rain and snow. They're worse in foggy weather. So this is how the oxygenoid constitution may be closely related to the syphilitic miasm. These nervous individuals and are characterized by increased physical and mental activities, which correspond to Handman's syphilis. There, for example, with the medicines like calcarea phos, ferrum phos, natrum phos, phosphorus, phosphoric acid, iodine, salicia, calcarea, natrum bure, alloporus, tuberculum, linum, syphilinum, Merck salt, Caliad, ferrum, and a lot of such antisyphilitic medicines. Now, my friends, as we discussed about the destructive stages of the syphilitic miasm and its transmission, how it goes to the body and how the person is, now we'll talk about the tubercular miasm. My friends, it's very much important to study about the tubercular miasm because tubercular miasm is the miasm which is comprised mainly of sora and syphilis. Dr. H.C. Allen referred to tubercular as a combination of the hereditary taints of sora and syphilis. So what is there? There are the hereditary taints of sora and syphilis. Both the miasms are there that are received through the heredity. Both components are present, the exudative lymphatic reaction of soric element and destructive effect of syphilis. The nature of miasm is changeable manifestation, my friend. Always remember, there is this periodicity in tubercular miasm. They are always changing. There is always a changeable manifestation. There are vague symptoms. There are dyspepsia, debility, wasting, and fever. See, my friends, there are variable symptoms. By variable, I mean that there is shifting in location or organism. There's varying in pathological manifestation and outlook. There's always an alternating state like diarrhea alternates with constipation or any alternating state that we can attribute to this tubercular miasm. There's contradictory manifestation. There's lymphatic diathesis develops into a scrofulous diathesis, lymphatic reaction and destruction, responsive or reacting miasm. So this is what we can tell about the tubercular miasm. There's a constant shift. There's a lot of alterations. There's the lymphatic diathesis, the lymph and the glandular involvement is there in case of this miasm. Now, what is the nature of the disease, my friends? The nature of the disease is this depletion, this drainage and wasting disease. There are loss of vital fluids, especially diarrhea, urine, sweat, bleeding. Always remember, my friends, all the hemorrhages, different types of hemorrhages that are coming may be attributed to the tubercular miasm, all sorts of hemorrhages. Again, there is pleurisy, there is diabetes mellitus, there is AGN, there is intermittent fever, there are one-sided diseases, swelling of neck, tonsils, all may be classified under the tubercular miasm. And again, what we have the past history and family history of tuberculosis. Of course, as the tubercular miasm, there may be, we will find the history of tuberculosis or the history of tubercular lung disease, example, whooping cough, bronchitis, bronchopneumonia, bronchial asthma, etc. Also, we will find the history of ringworm. There will be the suppression of ringworm, contact dermatitis, tendency to common cold, hay fever, sinusitis, migraine, etc. Now, my friends, there will be suppression of foot sweat. There will be chronic enlargement of tonsils, recurrent low-grade fever. Always remember, my friends, when we are talking about the tubercular, there is again and again the fever is coming. It's not continuous. Like we talk about the intermittent fever. Fever without apparent reason. The reason is not known, but yet fever is coming. Intermittent fever, chronic sore throat. The sore throat is very painful. My friends, again, I would like to quote that a physician skilled in anti-miasmatic prescribing dips deeper into the case and applies an agent that has a deeper and closer relationship with the perverted life force, that the results are always better, as it is written in the Theory of Chronic Diseases by Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. Also, I would like to quote here, my friends, I would like to end the session by quoting a short story on the miasm. The short story is that the mental sphere will be dealing about the Sora, syphilis, and psychosis. Suppose a bank robbery, Sora thinks of a plan, Sora is running out of money, Sora always wants some money, then Sora thinks how to acquire the money. Then Sora is very hardworking. Sora plans that a bank robbery may be done. He takes the internet ideas, he takes all the books, he makes the notes, and he makes the foolproof plan in order to make a bank robbery. Then what happens? He calls his friend Mr. Psychosis. Remember, my friends, Mr. Psychosis is exploitative, is very cunning, is intelligent. And now Mr. Psychotic will take all the ideas from Mr. Sora. He will take his books, he will take his notes, he will take his ideas, and he will make the foolproof plan in order to execute it. But what will happen? In order to execute the plan, he will again contact Mr. Syphilis and Mr. Tubercular. He will call them to his home, and they will again plan a foolproof plan. अब मिस्टर ट्यूबरकुलर और मिस्टर सिफिलिस को मिस्टर साइकोसिस बुला लेगा और उन्हें सारी प्लानिंग, सारी टेक्निक, सारी ट्रेनिंग बताएगा. अब जिस दिन रॉबरी का दिन आएगा, when the time for the robbery will come, then Mr. Psychosis, Mr. Syphilis calls Mr. Tubercular कि चलो बात दोस्त चलते हैं, let's make a robbery. Then what will happen? Mr. Tubercular will say no, because he's changeable. That is the nature of a Mr. Tubercular miasm. Tubercular, you cannot trust. Even at the last moment of a picnic or the last moment of the plan, they will say no to the plan, and they will not participate in the event. Then Mr. Syphilis, he goes to the bank, he gets caught up in the CCTV camera, and after he's caught on the CCTV camera, then the police comes and arrests Mr. Syphilis, and he's back inside the jail. Before going to the jail, he hands over all the money to Mr. Psychosis. He runs away with the money, and he's enjoying, he goes to the foreign and he's enjoying all the delicacies. So that is what the mind of the Mr. Psychotic is. The Mr. Psychotic is very exploitative, is very talented, he can exploit others. So we should be very careful with such kind of activities. So my friends, it's very important to know the importance of miasms in our day-to-day practice and also in our day-to-day studies, because miasms are the fundamental cause of the diseases, and they cause the fundamental infection to the constitution of the body. Thanks a lot, everybody, for patient listening.
Hello, everyone. Dr. Akshay Swami, we have some questions.
Yes, sir.
Questions हमारे पास आए हैं, तो अगर आपके पास टाइम हो तो एक एक करके. एक क्वेश्चन बहुत अच्छा है कि ये आज के डेट में ये कोरोना वायरस जो चल रहा है ना?
यस सर.
तो रेस्पिरेटरी सिम्टम्स बहुत ज्यादा आ रहे हैं, तो इसमें मियाज्मेटिक अगर प्रिस्क्राइबिंग किया जाए तो किस तरीके से मियाज्म का इसमें असेसमेंट और ऑब्जर्वेशन करना पड़ेगा, तो इस पे आप कुछ क्या कहेंगे, क्योंकि ये कोरोना क्राइसिस का टाइम चल रहा है.
यस सर.
और ये क्वेश्चन कोरोना से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन बहुत मेरे पास मतलब 4 to 5 क्वेश्चंस आए हैं, उसमें यही क्वेश्चन पूछा जा रहा बार बार कि इसमें सर किस तरीके से हम मियाज्मेटिक किस तरीके से इसमें प्रिस्क्राइबिंग करेंगे.
यस सर. सर, इन ऑर्डर टू आंसर इस क्वेश्चन का जवाब देने के लिए सर, आई वुड लाइक टू कोट द फर्स्ट कैंटस्टुअल ऑब्जर्वेशन, where Cantrell observation बताते हैं a prolonged aggravation and final decline of the patient. आज के केस में सर जो हम कोरोना पेशेंट्स में देख रहे हैं, तो कोरोना पेशेंट जो हो जा रहा है वो लगातार सफर करता जा रहा है, वो प्रोलॉन्ग्ड जो कॉम्प्लिकेशन स्टेजेस में जा रहे हैं. एज वी ऑलरेडी नो दैट इट इज एन एक्यूट डिसीज, पेंडेमिक डिसीज एक एक्यूट डिसीज है. इसका दो ही फेट होता है, या तो रिकवरी होगी या फिर डेथ होगा. जो पेशेंट कॉम्प्लिकेशंस में जाते हैं उन पेशेंट्स के लिए हमें क्या करना है, वी हैव टू टेक द केस and we have to find out the background of the miasm. जो हमारे पास miasm जो हमारे पास first layer आ रही है, जैसे when we take most of the corona cases, we find the breathing disorders, we find the fever, and also what are the symptoms we are finding, that we can prescribe an anti-soric medicine in this case, as we have seen that we have got a lot of success from the medicines like Brineia, and also the other antisoric medicines. They have played a very vital role in the treatment, as we have seen from the seminars that was conducted by the CCRH also. एंड ऑल्सो सर आई वुड लाइक टू कोट दैट माइजम को हम देखेंगे तो ये एक एंटी, हम जो आर्सेनिकम एल्बम भी प्रेस्क्राइब करते हैं वो एक ट्राइमाइजमेटिक मेडिसिन है जिसमें हमारा सोरा, सिफिलिस, साइकोसिस तीनों माइजम बहुत ही अच्छी तरह कवर हो जाते हैं, जिससे हमारा जो साइको इम्यून न्यूरो एक्सेस पे हम जो बात करेंगे तो हमारे जो बॉडी के अंदर चैनल्स होते हैं और जो मैक्सिमम जो हमारी इम्यूनिटी बूस्टिंग की बात आती है तो उसमें सर हमारी मेडिसिन का ट्राइमाइजमेटिक लेवल पे भी बहुत ही अच्छा काम है। तो इसमें मैं कहूंगा सर कि ये जो हम जब ये केस लेंगे तो एक एंटीसोरिक पिक्चर हमारे पास आएगी और जो मैथमेटिक प्रिस्क्रिप्शन होगा वो हमारे पेशेंट्स को और केसेस को बहुत ही जल्दी से रिलीफ देगा सर।
अच्छा, और एक हमारे लिसनर हैं मिस्टर इब्तिसाम, उनका क्वेश्चन ये था कि क्या जो मियाज़्म होते हैं उनके कलर्स को आप कलर्स के अकॉर्डिंगली क्या पहचान सकते हैं क्या मियाज़्म को?
यस सर।
इसमें थोड़ा सा आप बताइए जरा कि क्या।
जैसे सर हम देखते हैं कि जो हमारा जो कलर्स आता है मियाज़्म्स का, तो मैंने जैसे अपने प्रेजेंटेशन में बताया कि साइकोटिक मियाज़्म जो है उसका मेनली येलोइश कलर रहेगा, उसमें येलोइश तरह के हमारे पास क्या कहते हैं इरप्शंस रहेंगे और येलोइश तरह के डिस्चार्जेस भी रहेंगे। जबकि हम सर ट्यूबरकुलर में देखेंगे तो जो पेशेंट रहेगा वो मेनली रेड तरह का रहेगा और उसमें रेड तरह के हेमरेजेस हमें बहुत सारे मिलेंगे, रेड कलर के उसके स्किन के ऊपर एक्सप्रेशंस मिलेंगे। तो और जो हम देखा जाएगा सर ब्लैक कलर का कहीं ना कहीं जो हमारा सोरिक मियाज़्म रहेगा उसमें ड्राइनेस रहेगी, उसमें देखा जाएगा कि इचिंग करते करते वो एक डार्क कलर एज्यूम करने लग जाता है सर। हमारा जो डार्क रहेगा वो सोरा मियाज़्म के अंडर में हम उसे देखते हैं सर।
अच्छा, एक क्वेश्चन और भी है कि सोरा, सिफिलिस, साइकोटिक की एंट्री पॉइंट क्या क्या रहेंगे? मतलब
ये सर जैसे सर
when doctor interact with our patient, so what is the finding we will observe during interaction or when we see the patient?
Yes sir, exactly sir. When we are interacting with the patient, the first of all we have to give special emphasis on the gait of the person. The way the person is coming inside our chamber, that will also reflect a lot about the miasmatic state. Because when the patient is coming from outside, we have to see the face of the person and his gait, that how he's walking. The way he's walking, is it dwindling or is he afraid or is he coming straight to us or what is the condition? Suppose हम देखेंगे कि सर कि वो जो पेशेंट आ रहा है वो बहुत dwindle कर रहा है, is not able to stand properly or there is a lot of dwindling and there is a lot of slurriness in the speech, then we can attribute it to the psychotic sphere, where we find there is the incoordination of the speech. The person is not able to speak correctly, the incoordination is not there, they is not able to stand and there is a dwindling. And also sir, from the miasmatic point of view, when we talk about the gait of the Soric will come and he will be mentally restless. There will be a lot of restlessness and there will be hypersensitivity. When we will be interrogating to the person, then they will be showing the sensitivity will be very much. And when we will be talking about the psychotic sphere, we will find that when we are asking the patient any question, then he will always try to exaggerate it. That by that exaggerations, even though the suffering may be less, but the exaggeration will be very high. So by that, sir, we can understand it may be a psychotic sphere. And by the syphilitic, we will find that that there will be this dullness. We will ask, आपको क्या है? तो वो शांत में रहेगा और बोलेगा कुछ नहीं जानते. There will be that neglect we can find. That neglect we can find in such kind of patients, and we can judge from them, sir.
लास्ट क्वेश्चन, एक क्वेश्चन और इंटरेस्टिंग आया हुआ है जिसमें ये बताया गया कि डिफिशियंसी को हम सोरा से डिनोट करते हैं, लेकिन सिफिलिस को किस तरीके से आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं?
हाँ, जैसे सर हमने बताया कि सोरा तो हमारी डेफिशिएंसी है, एक्सेस हमारा साइकोसिस है, और जो हमारा सिफिलिस है उसमें से डिस्ट्रक्शंस है, उसमें अल्सरेशंस है, उसमें डिस्ट्रक्टिवनेस है सर, उसमें हमारा जो स्किन है वो अनहेल्दी स्किन रहेगी और हमारे जो मेनली जो बोन्स के ऊपर उसका एक्शन रहेगा, वो बोन्स को जैसे हमारे बोन इन्फेक्शंस रहे, बोन्स के ट्यूमर्स हो सकते हैं सर, बोन्स की मैलिग्नेंसीज हमें मिलती है जो कि सिफिलिटिक रहेंगी, तो उस टाइप से सर हम देख सकते हैं सर, जो हमारी अल्सरेशन रहेगा, बोन मैरो डिस्ट्रक्शन रहेगा सर ऐसे केसेस में।
ओके, बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक था और रियली वी ऑल एंजॉयड वेरी वेल और हमारे साथ में हमारे ऑर्गेनन विभाग के प्रोफेसर एस पाल सर जुड़ गए हैं। तो मैं सर की तरफ माइक आगे बढ़ाना चाहता हूँ नेट के थ्रू कि वो कुछ इस वेबिनार से जुड़ी हुई बातें और जो अनुभव रहा उस जो हमारे व्यूअर्स हैं, लिसनर्स हैं, उनके साथ साझा करें। डॉक्टर एस पाल सर, अगर आप सुन रहे हो तो प्लीज।
हाँ, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल डॉक्टर अमित, थैंक यू सो मच एंड गुड आफ्टरनून डॉक्टर स्वामी जी।
गुड आफ्टरनून सर।
एंड गुड afternoon to all participants who joined this meeting. Sir, I listened to Dr. Amit Naik about you. You are very dynamic and very good academician. So I am very happy and glad to join with this meeting today. Sir, the topic is very excellent and content is very informative and which guides to our students and all those who join this. So it is very nice meeting and I hope you join with us always when you are required.
It's an honor for me, sir.
Sir, I appreciate to your nice presentation and your topic. Sir, if you allowed me, I have some doubts and confusion regarding this miasm.
Yes, sir.
Sir, thank you. Sir, always the question is raised by my students in the class that SORA is a chronic miasm or SORA is a disease condition produced by a certain type of miasm. One thing. Second, sir,
yes, sir.
Chronic miasm and bacteria viruses are the same things or the different things?
Yes, sir. Sir, I would like to comment on this that as I told in my beginning slide, sir, that the miasmatic force is always inside the body the day we are born with, because it is the self-limiting force. If the miasmatic force will be there, then only the life could be limited. Otherwise, the life would go on forever. And sir, the organisms that are like, be it a virus, be it bacteria, every living creature has its own miasmatic force. When they attack our body, or when our body is under the attack of certain group of bacteria, as Dr. Hahnemann taught us in the paragraph number 75 footnotes in the theory of the chronic disease, where he writes that these bacteria or these parasites that come inside our body, they have their multiplication properties and they have their own miasma. So by that, sir, we understand that by this miasmatic principle, we can understand that it's a dynamic principle. It is the dynamic force that is self-limiting, that are limiting because the human have its own phases of life. There is the growth. First of all, there is the want. When there is the want, we need the oxygen to survive. So by that survival, we have the oxygen. We need oxygen to take respiration. Similarly, sir, we need, there is the SORA, syphilis, psychosis, they're already dormant in our state. And similarly, also we study the definition of acute disease as the latent explosion of as the transient explosion of the latent SORA. That is the temporary explosion. The SORA that is already dormant in our body, it gets exploded, or it shows its symptoms, sir. So similarly, sir, we can tell them that yes, the miasm is a life-limiting force. It is present everywhere, and we have our vital force. There is a constant battle that is going on inside our body, and in our health, this vital force wins. And when the disease wins, then we have the miasmatic force that is winning.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And again, thanks to all participants who joined this webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, HOD Organon of Medicine, respected Professor Dr. S.S. Pal sir. और बहुत अच्छी तरीके से सर ने बहुत मतलब ये होता है, ये इसको बोलते हैं कि अगर लर्निंग डिजायर है, और डॉक्टर हनीमैन सर ने भी बोला है कि कभी भी नॉलेज का अंत नहीं हो सकता है। और ये बहुत बड़ी बात है कि हमारे कॉलेज के इतने बड़े प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर एस.एस. पाल सर का भी कोई क्वेश्चन था तो उन्होंने भी इसको क्लैरिफाई करना चाहा, तो ये सब बहुत बड़ी बात है। और हम लोग तो सब लर्नर हैं, हमेशा सीखते हैं। तो डॉक्टर स्वामी जी को, डॉक्टर अक्षय स्वामी को एक बार फिर से पुनः समस्त कॉलेज की तरफ से, प्रिंसिपल सर की तरफ से, हमारे ऑर्गेनन ऑफ मेडिसिन के विभाग अध्यक्ष एचओडी डॉक्टर एसएस पाल सर की तरफ से बहुत बहुत आपको
यस सर,
थैंक यू। और हमारे जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं, एक फीडबैक फॉर्म आपके पास आएगा सभी के पास, आप उसको फुलफिल करिए और फुलफिल करने के बाद आपको ई सर्टिफिकेट आपकी ईमेल आईडी पे प्रॉपरली पहुंच जाएगा और उसके बाद आप फीडबैक दीजिए कि पहुंचा कि नहीं। तो जो बच्चे जो जिस ग्रुप में 3rd ईयर 4th ईयर एमडी और जो अनदर ग्रुप में, उसमें अपना बताइए कि फीडबैक कैसा रहा और फीडबैक फॉर्म को भरिए, सर्टिफिकेट मिला कि नहीं मिला। और कोई भी प्रॉब्लम होगी इस वेबिनार से जुड़ी हुई तो आप उसको शेयर कर सकते हैं ग्रुप में। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद एक बार पुनः डॉक्टर अक्षय स्वामी जी आपका कि आप आए।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक्स लॉट सर फॉर एनेबलिंग
सरल तरीके से आपने रखा, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका।
यस,
ओके, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
ओके,
thank you to all of you. It's been a pleasure being with all of you today. Thank you so much for joining this webinar. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Akshay sir.
thank you, thanks a lot sir for it.
Thank you, Pal sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nayak sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.